everybody, it's Dr. Dvori here, and today's session is going to be about the Creative Expressive Art Therapy for children, teenagers and adults in order to help them work through grief and loss. This is going to be a very practical session, so I'm actually going to show you what I do with clients so that if you're a therapist you can get a good idea. If you're a parent that would like to work with your child about processing grief, it's going to help you. And if you're a teenager that's listening to me, if you are an adult that would like to help yourself with grief and loss, then you can really make use of these ideas. When we do all of this creative expressive art, yes, you might be seeing that you're getting sadder, the child might be getting in touch with the pain, so maybe it's not a good idea, maybe rather just suppress it and finished. But of course, if we suppress it, we are going to then pay the price later on in life. As I've mentioned to you before, we've got three brains. We've got the brain stem, your reptilian brain, your limbic system, your mammalian brain, and the cortex, the human brain. Survival brain, feeling brain, rational brain. So when you don't work through emotions, you suppress them here, and these neurological networks are still going to fire, and it's going to come out later on in a form of depression. So it is better to actually work through it as much as possible. I'd like to start off with the first idea that I had about how to process the pain and the loss. I'm sorry that those arts and crafts are written in Hebrew. I will explain it in English. This is this part. You can add pictures, you can add drawings, you can make it on an A3, A2. It always is better to do all of these arts that I'm showing you on an A3 or an A2. I'm just, for the video's sake, I made it all small. Okay, so this is about before and now. This is what I miss from before. This is my life now. So you might be missing, we will now work on, for the sake of the example, just a daughter that lost a father. So that is going to be the example I'll be using right through today, but this applies to any situation and any person. So I'm missing the happy times when I went out with ice cream with him, missing his smiley face, walking in nature with him, the surprise birthday cake that he used to buy for me for my birthday. I'm missing a table with him being around, and this was in the past. And what's happening today? So you can draw a table without the father. You can write. We're doing less outings. I have less money. Sometimes I'm scared. So whatever it is, you don't have to give the child the answer. You can ask them, what is it that you miss? You can give examples, but don't just give it all to them. You can just prompt. What is it that you're missing today, and you'd like really to you'd like to have, but unfortunately it's a loss, and it's a loss forever, and you need to acknowledge the pain, acknowledge the feeling, and not to try and rush the grief process, because then you're just going to make them suppress it. The next work, I call it the heart work. This is something I learned from Dr. Fritz. So in the middle I just wrote love, and then we elicit all the feelings that are to do with the grief. So you can write for yourself, or the child can write the codes of what are the feelings. You can ask them, what are you feeling? Angry, sad, frustrated, mad, guilt, hopeless. You need to explain hopeless to a child. Jealousy. What is it that you feel? Let's give a color to each feeling, and then how much space does it take in your heart? For example, the feeling of guilt this is helplessness, this is jealousy, this is anger, this is how much space it takes in my heart. So we've got arrows coming in and arrows going out. So the arrows that are coming in means what brings about this feeling. Arrows that is coming out means when I have this feeling, what do I do with it? It doesn't matter if it's adaptive or maladaptive, what they do with that, as long as they have it written down and they can see it and process it. So for example, I wrote down jealousy. What makes me jealous is when a friend hugs her father. And what does it do to me? It brings tears to my eyes. Frustration, that is a feeling that you might need to explain. When I need my father's help. And what do I do with it when I'm feeling frustrated? I kick my bed. Okay, you need to accept it for now. Anger. When do you feel angry? When I feel about how great he was and now he's not here. And what do you do with that? I just do some fists into the pillow. Guilt feelings. When do you feel guilty? When I think about when I didn't answer him, I ignored him, and what does it do to you when you feel guilty? I am not able to function. Feeling of missing someone. When do you miss him? What does it do to you? Fear, helplessness, etc. So this is a very, very good work in order to process grief. Next thing is working with the body. So often ask kids if they'd like to do this work. For this kind of work, they need to lie on the floor on a big piece of white paper, and then I draw them with a pencil all around, and then we paint them, and we make the facial features and the hair. And then this is just for inner strength building, but you can use the same also for grief. So you can make colors in the body of, let's say, the pain. Where is the pain? Let's say it's in the heart. What color is it? How big is it? Let's say guilt. Where is the guilt? Maybe it's in the brain. What color is it? How big is it? And all the feelings that we mentioned earlier, that must go in the body. Where do you feel it in your body? How big is it? And around you can create that bubble with maybe all his messages towards you. I love you. I miss you. I'll always protect you. I'm here for you. You're never alone. You can write inside the bubble. So that is working with the body. Creative Expressive Therapy number 4 that I'd like to recommend is a collage. So I know that I didn't put any pictures here, but there's supposed to be quite a few pictures for each topic. When I work with this with adults, I often do it in hypnosis, and it's really, really powerful in terms of connecting with the deceased. It's a very, very powerful work. So, but you can also do it through Creative Expressive Art. You designate an area for each topic, and you stick pictures that are related to this topic. So what are the topics that I wrote down? What was fun to do together? For example, to build buildings together with the sand of the beach sand, to play soccer together, to go to the pizza together. Next topic that I put there is thank you for, for example, giving me lifts or rides to school, for buying me my best dress for a festival. Thank you for fixing my cupboard. The next title is I'm sorry about. So here they can get in touch with the guilt and get an opportunity to say what they're sorry about. The next one is my present from you, from me to you. What would you like to give as a present to your father? So here we create it from clay or from clever clay. So clay is actually mud, and clever clay has got colors. Both of them dry up really nicely. The clay you need to paint after that. So the present for me to my father is you might want to create a heart and decorate with flowers, and that is. And what's the present from him to you? Maybe it's his loving smile that she can create from clay. And then the next topic that I wrote is what am I planning to do so that my father will be proud of me. So for example, if it's a kid, to learn hard, to help mom, to be a loyal friend, to be a good sister. Another thing, that's for more spiritually orientated people. What can I do to uplift my father's soul? So it's whatever it is that it is within your belief system that is going to give pleasure to his soul. So you can list that. And then what can I do to make sure your memory is there forever, to make your memory alive every day. So it could be planting a tree, donating a bench to a public garden. It could be creating a round table in the room with all memories of the person on the table, memories such as photos, writing poems, creating from clay things that you used to do together. For example, a soccer ball, a football ball, maybe dad loved spaghetti, you create spaghetti, you paint it all, and you make the table really, really nice. So this collage is very, very powerful in terms of processing the loss and all the different features of the loss. Creative Expressive number 5 is creating things from clay, so that I've already mentioned as part of number 4. Then the next one is what's in my control and what's not in my control. So I've put here in the middle the girl, and we're helping her think, okay, your father passed away, it feels so that you're so much out of control, you don't know what to do and how to help yourself, but there are still things that are within your control. And there are things that are not in your control. So let's talk together. What is in your control? So I'll tell you what I wrote in the orange circle. Who should I play with? Yeah, it is in her control. My hobbies, sure. Joining social activities. She can choose if she wants or not, and when and how. Helping people. She can choose. How much to invest in my studies. That's in her control. How to behave, who to share with when I feel pain or lonely, what I should eat and when, what I'm going to wear, extramurals. These are just examples. Obviously, you need to apply it to each situation. So that's inside. What's outside? What's not in my control? So what's not in my control, just ideas. Could be where are we going to be hosted for the weekend, where are we going to live, choosing a school, how much money I'm going to have, is mom going to get married again, who will be my teachers, my moods. In the beginning, it's not within her control. So these are things that you need to process together with a child, and not to criticize it, and not to make suggestions and give advice, but just let her process it in her way, at her time, with plenty of acceptance from your side. So the next amazing work is, I call it the message work. So here is a client of mine that lost her dog. People think that if people lose a pet, okay, it's sad, but it's not a human being. Well, let me tell you, there is that a lot of people experience a loss of a pet just as much or sometimes more than a loss of a human being. And I have done a lot of work with people that lost a very close pet. It is really, it's heartbreaking to see how much pain they are going through and experiencing. So I asked her to draw for me the dog, and to write messages from her, from the client, to the dog. So for example, you can write, you were my best dog ever, you were always there for me, you always felt my feelings, you comforted me, don't know what I'm going to do without you, I love you forever. And then the dog also gave her messages. You are the best owner ever. I could never have wished for a better owner than you are. You are so playful. You gave me yummy food to eat, and so on and so forth. This is really, really amazing and helpful. So that is something that I definitely would recommend. And then when people lose a loved one, then they often feel helpless. It's a normal feeling. It's a horrible feeling to have to deal with. But in order for us to remember that we're not helpless, and there are still resources within ourselves and within our environment, we can do the following creative expressive art, or you can help a child do it. So here I wrote my resources, and here I wrote where do I go for a hug and a kiss? Where to? Let's say in this situation, to mom. Where do I go for money? In her situation, it's grandpa. Where do I go for emotional support? In her situation, it's a neighbor. Where do I go for a nice warm meal? Gran. Where do I go for good advice? Teacher. Where do I go for if I need something to be fixed, because now dad is not alive to fix my things? Big brother. Where do I go for protection? Police or whoever. So just to reiterate to people that even though they're feeling so hopeless, but there are still resources within the environment and also within themselves. The next activity that I'd like to share with you is also very, very beautiful, and that is the presents that Dad left for me. So all the things that I can learn from Dad that are present in my life. So for example, his inner strength is something for me to learn from, his inner wisdom. He used to please me so much, to please people, to make people happy. He used to be a high achiever. He liked to do things perfectly, and he was a real nurturer. So these are the presents that he left for me. Then it's very important to process feelings of guilt if there are. So yes, we touched on them earlier, but if there are feelings of guilt, they need to be processed a little bit deeper. So there I would create any creative expressive art about that. You can be as creative as you like, and it's very good to have lots of creative expressive art material in your home, such as clay, clever clay, paints and markers and colored pencils, and anything. Just go to an art shop and see what you can pull out. I forgot to mention that for collages, I saw on Amazon, and they don't even know that I'm advertising them, so you shouldn't think that I've got an interest. A very beautiful collage book. It's not expensive. It's got lots and lots and lots of pictures that you can cut from, pictures about nature and furniture and cars and planes and people and jewelry and food, and so that is really helpful to buy that book, and at least you've got all the pictures there, or you can download from the internet. So about guilt, if they're feeling guilt about many things, or feeling quite guilty about a few things, then you can write inside a circle and put pictures, or they can draw. I'm feeling guilty about this and this and this and this and this. And then outside is, what did I do right? What did I do correctly? And that is, for example, I prepared a nice birthday cake for him. We had a good time together when we went to the beach. I prepared for him coffee in the morning. I gave him his slippers. So the child can see that it's not just about what she did wrong, but she's done plenty of right things. That applies to adults too. Everything that I said applies to adults too. And lastly, really, really nice work is this is what keeps me going. This is what keeps me going. This arts and crafts was done by a client of mine, not for grief at all, but she had bipolar, plenty depression, and from time to time she'd go up into the manic state. And one of the creative expressive art that I've done with her is this one: what keeps me going, what are the things that make me happy. And that's very, very important for people that feel depressed. And what she created for me here are all the things that keep her going, which is her fiance and his heart and her pearls and jewelry and hair and family. And she was going to move to England, so thinking about England. And this is really very, very nice work. Yeah, this kind did come right. Thank God. So she's okay now. I hope that helped. I've given you 11 different ideas for amazing creative expressive art that you can do for grief and loss, but you can also implement them for other topics. I do work a lot through creative expressive art as well as other modalities, but this is a modality that's very powerful because it works in your limbic system, in your feeling brain, which is semi-subconscious. So I hope that helped, and if it did, please can you give me a like. If you can subscribe, then you can get more contents such as this, and if you can share, and all of this is going to help my channel also to spread its wings and reach more people. I'd really appreciate that. Sending you love from Dr. Dvori.